What's up guys, it's Eric from Rare Candy and welcome back to the finals of the recent Wilmington, North Carolina League Cup that we got to go attend. So here on the left you actually have yours truly. I'm going to be playing Gardevoir GX, and on the right we have Corey Woods, who's also playing Gardevoir GX, which that might sound kind of boring actually at first, but these lists actually aren't quite the same. So what I mean by that is, on the left I'm going to be playing a version of Gardevoir that's more like the Brokenvoir, like Max Potion variant that's been running around lately. And then Corey, he's actually playing a little bit of a different build. He's playing the Sylveon GX version of the deck that was previously pretty popular. And he also plays some other interesting cards in his list, like the Tapu Koko promo. I believe he plays Acerola, which I don't play. And so a lot of people out there, you might be thinking, well, the Sylveon version has done well before, but this Max Potion version has been doing well too. So like, which version is better? And you know, how do these versions stack up against each other? So even though this is kind of a mirror match, I think it's definitely a cool one to see, because I think a lot of people probably are wondering, you know, which version of the deck maybe they should gravitate more towards. So Corey is getting to go first in this series, and he's going to play Ultra Ball, getting rid of a Gardevoir, and I cannot make out the other card right now. Oh, it looks like an Acerola actually. So here he's no doubt going for Bridget with that Tapu GX, getting 3 basic Pokemon out of his deck. This is kind of the perfect, you know, ideal first turn supporter. So I'm imagining we'll probably see 2 Ralts and a Remoraid, or maybe 2 Ralts and an Eevee, but here he's actually going for the single copy of Ralts, because I'm pretty sure he's going to get Eevee. He has a Fairy Energy in hand. And so here he's going to use Energy Evolution, getting out that Sylveon GX. Nice. So the Energy Evolution ability, if you guys aren't familiar with it, whenever you attach a basic energy to Eevee, search your deck for an evolution of the same type and evolve straight into it, which is really nice. And here I'm opening with a Tapu GX of my own, so I will be able to search out Bridget and get 3 of my own basic Pokemon. So here, a couple options. I'm thinking you might see a Remoraid, I mean definitely, then a Ralts and a Alolan Vulpix. I think that is a potential option. Another thing is maybe even a Alolan Vulpix. Since I am going second, I can search out some Pokemon out of my deck. But here it looks like I'm just thinking about going all in with all of the different Raltses. So maybe I'm thinking, you know what, maybe this active Ralts will get knocked out or something. So I want to have 3 in play still. So that is a potential option. I also have a Rare Candy Gardevoir in hand, I'm pretty sure. So if I do go for the Alolan Vulpix, I actually would kind of be baiting Corey to end me, basically. So if I went for the Alolan Vulpix and used that Beacon attack to search 2 more Pokemon out of my deck, if Corey has access to end, he might be more likely to play it. So I kind of want to conceal the strength of my hand a little bit. So here he actually had an N, which he Ultra Balled away. I am more than happy to see that. He could still have one in hand, but I definitely, my spirits brightened a little bit whenever I saw that happen. And here he's getting out that Octillery, that way he can use that Abyssal Hand ability. It lets him draw until he has 5 cards in his hand every turn. So let's see, he's going to draw Sycamore, Choice Band, Fairy Energy, and Fairy Energy. So I imagine we'll probably see an attachment come down to the active Lele to retreat. Yeah, because he's definitely going to want to use this Magical Ribbon attack that Sylveon has at some point. So here he's just trying to think what he wants to play down out of his hand before he uses Sycamore. So he's going to play Super Rod, getting back a Gardevoir and a Fairy Energy. Definitely 2 good targets. And he has a Choice Band. I don't think he had anything else usable, so here he's just going to discard a Fairy Energy and get a new hand of 7. So here he actually does have Rare Candy Gardevoir in hand, which I'm sure he's excited to see. He only has the 1 Ralts in play, so he really, I bet, wants to make sure that that 1 Ralts did not get knocked out. Unfortunately, he does not have another Ralts in play just yet, but luckily he has Sylveon GX. Has that Magical Ribbon attack for 1 Fairy Energy, lets you search your deck for any 3 cards and put them into your hand. But here I actually have Rare Candy, I have Gardevoir GX with a Fairy Energy and Double Colorless Energy in hand with an N. So this is actually a really good turn for me to respond with. I'm just debating, do I want to attach the Double Colorless Energy to Sylveon? Because typically in these Gardevoir mirror matches, you don't want to be the Gardevoir player that has a bunch of energy on your Gardevoir, unless you're going for like a knockout. You usually don't want to have to get extra energy on Gardevoir if you're just 2-shotting something. But here, I don't think He's even going to have a way to take a knockout on me. He only has one Gardevoir GX in play. This Sylveon is stuck active. So I'm actually, I think, safe committing the extra energy in this instance to ensure the 2-hit knockout on Sylveon. So here I'm going to get a Kirlia in play, and from there, I'm just going to do 120 damage since Infinite Force Gardevoir's main attack is 30 times the amount of energy on both active Pokemon. So Corey, let's see what he's going to opt to do. He has some energy in hand. He could go for like a Plea GX or something like that potentially at some point. If he has like a Guzma play, that could potentially be kind of good. But here it looks like he's going to Secret Spring onto this Gardevoir GX. And actually what I'm thinking the play here is, I think he should attach, well, I'm thinking he should have maybe attached and retreated this Sylveon and just kind of poked my Gardevoir for, you know, like, what, 120 damage for just a single Fairy Energy. I think that would have been a much stronger play here. But here he's going to knock out, I believe it's a Ralts, which is still okay. He's going to prevent basically one more Pokemon from evolving into a Gardevoir. But here he's, I think, just setting himself up basically to get Return knocked out. And here I think I actually have the means to do it already. And I top deck a Gardevoir, that's really good as well. So what I can do here is I can attach double colorless energy, and I also have a Choice Band in hand, so I can just attach double colorless energy and Choice Band to do exactly enough damage. So here you can see I'm just double checking my math just to make sure I'm not miscalculating the knockout. And I can probably just put the other Fairy Energy on the other Gardevoir GX here, and then just end. So, you know, I think I'm going to be in a pretty good spot. You know, Corey's not going to have another Ralts to respond with, and like I said, typically in this match you don't want to be the player that has the most energy on Gardevoir, but like I said, Corey does not have a way to respond to this with another Gardevoir, so I'm actually kind of in a safe spot to just pile a bunch of energy on this Gardevoir and just kind of run over anything that Corey puts in play. And here I get Octillery in play, which is great. I'm going to be going down to 4 prize cards after this turn, so it'll be nice to have a way to refill my hand if I get end into a lower hand size or something. So let's see what route Corey is going to go here. Unfortunately, he doesn't really have a great play at the moment. Anything he promotes just gets knocked out immediately by this Gardevoir GX. So if he's going to get knocked out either way, maybe he promotes the Sylveon and goes for like a Magical Ribbon play or something like that. Here he top decks an Eevee, it looks like. I see a Kirlia in hand. I believe he has an N as well. So he might just have to end here and, you know, try to put me down to a lower hand size and maybe just get another Ralts in play. That needs to be his objective for the turn. Would have actually been great would have been to, if he had like a Max Potion Fairy Energy Guzma play he could have done. Well, actually no, he would have needed, never mind, that wouldn't have worked. I was going to say he would need Max Potion Fairy Energy DCE to do Guzma Plea GX on a fresh Sylveon. So unfortunately he didn't have that type of option available to him. But he's going to get down a Ralts. He's going to Max Potion off his Sylveon, and I think if that's the case, you don't attach any more energy. I don't even know if he has the means to, but basically he's forcing me to commit one more energy to this Sylveon to knock it out, and I'm actually fine with doing that if I have to. But here he's going to Ultra Ball away a Sycamore and an N, probably grabbing another Ralts just in case I pick off his only one. Oh, but here he's actually going for a Tapu Koko. That's an interesting move on his part as well. So Tapu Koko, definitely an interesting card in this list. It's actually really nice because it has free retreat though, so whenever he goes for a Guzma play, he will have an option to promote something with free retreat, which is nice. But here he's going to pay the DCE to retreat, and looks like he's going to feed me a Lele. Honestly, I think I like the idea of promoting Tapu Koko instead, forcing me into a 7 prize game. But, you know, I'm happy to take the extra 2 prizes. So let's see. My hand isn't the best. I have a Max Potion, and I do have some Fairy Energy, so I definitely have options. And I still have Octillery as well. So what I'm going to do here is use Secret Spring, attached to that one Gardevoir, in case Steven does, or not Steven, Steven was from the last round, in case Corey gets a Gardevoir in play next turn, I will have another Gardevoir to respond with. So here I'm just going to take a knockout. I did have a Fairy Energy I could have actually put in play, but basically I'm saving it in case Corey is able to swing on me and do some damage. I want to be able to max potion it off and attach another Fairy Energy to keep on attacking for turn. And here he is going to use Abyssal Hand, drawing a few more cards. Unfortunately, he does not hit a rare candy, so he's not able to get this Gardevoir in play. And I think he has a Sycamore, so he's going to have to discard 2 double Carlos Energies and a Gardevoir, which is not what he wants to do at all, I'm sure. So here he's going to get the double Carlos Energy down on Ralts, and just Professor Sycamore discarding that hand and drawing 7. Luckily though, this is a Gardevoir GX deck, so he does have access to Twilight GX to shuffle 10 cards from his discard pile back into his deck at some point, potentially. And he does have, it looks like Rare Candy Gallade? I thought it was a Rare Candy, so maybe he's... I guess maybe not if he's not going for it. Here I'm going to use Perilous City, forcing Corey to discard some Pokemon from his bench. If the blue side of Perilous City is facing that player, they have to discard, or they can only have 3 bench Pokemon in play, and if they have more than that, they have to discard until they have 3. So this is actually really nice because Corey had a lot of different targets that I would have been happy to see hit the discard pile, including that Octillery. So here, I'm just trying to figure out how I can play down some cards from my hand to use Abyssal Hand. You know, I have some options in my hand, but no supporters. Here, I'm going to play Field Blower, getting rid of the Choice Band. So I can probably Secret Spring and maybe play a Super Rod. That would get my hand down low enough to use Abyssal Hand for 1 card, I believe. So here I'm just thinking, where do I want this energy? That's the big question, because I'm still worried about a Plea GX play at some point as well. And I don't want to pile too much energy on one Gardevoir in case of something like that. So here I'm going to use Super Rod, putting the Ralts back into my deck just to play down my hand a little bit more. And so if you guys aren't familiar with that Plea GX I've been referencing, it's Sylveon GX's GX move. For a Fairy in DCE, you get to put 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon, all cards, attach them back into their hand. So if I get too greedy with how much energy I have in play on a single Pokemon, he could potentially like Guzma that Pokemon to the bench and use Plea to put all those resources back into my hand and out of play. So let's see what route Corey is going to go here. I did not get a look at the card he drew for turn, but here he's just going to scoop up and go to the next game. I only need to take 1 more prize, and his board was just not in a good spot. But luckily for him, this is best 2 out of 3 in Top Cut, so he still has 2 more games to potentially come back and take the series from me. And I just want to give you guys a little bit of a heads up as well. I do apologize, but my camera did stop recording in the middle of this game. So just want to give you a heads up, don't get too bummed out whenever it happens. So this match will be cut a little bit short, but hopefully we'll be able to show off enough of it to give you an idea where it's heading. So here we're just going to shuffle up and get ready for this next game. I'm just trying to think, you know, how Corey should maybe approach this next game a little bit differently. And this is actually one thing I'm still wondering too is, you know, is Twilight GX the better GX move in the mirror, or should you go for the Plea GX? I think both of them have you know, different pros and cons. Plea GX is great at, you know, punishing your opponent if they get too many resources in play and get too greedy with how much energy they have on Gardevoirs, like I mentioned before. But at the same time, if Corey plays Max Potions and Ace Roll and stuff like that, Twilight GX is just such a great move at ensuring that you can win the 2-shot war for the rest of the game. So I'm not sure how this is going to go. It might just be a case-by-case situation that Corey's going to have to feel out and see which move will work better. And here I'm sure is going to go first, since in best 2 out of 3 series, the player who loses the first game does get to choose who goes first next. And here, this is actually a great opening hand for him. He has a Tapu Koko as his active Pokemon, which is probably the best starter he could possibly ask for since it has free retreat, and he has a Bridget in hand, so he doesn't even have to play a Tapu Lele of his own to grab 3 Pokemon out of his deck. So we're going to see 2 Ralts, and I'm assuming probably an Eevee. He has a Sylveon GX in his hand I saw, so he might just want to get the Eevee down to, you know, so he can evolve into it next turn. And here he is going to get that Eevee in play, just as I suspected. And he has a DCE, but he might opt to not even play it down just because he could be susceptible to like a Guzma play. But here I'm just going to end, unfortunately, even though I started with a Alolan Vulpix, which is the best starter I have going second. Not too much else beyond that. I did not have a Bridget or a Tapu Lele of my own. So just going to have to refill my hand manually with this N here and just hope I can get a Ralts into play. That's going to be the big thing I need desperately this turn. And here I can see I do have an Ultra Ball. I don't have a draw supporter, but I do have options. So I have Parallel City, which is a great card to see that is going to limit Corey's bench size to only 3 Pokemon. And then what I can do is I can play this Ultra Ball, discarding a Fairy Energy and the Tapu Lele like you can see there to grab a Ralts. Because, you know, even though my hand is dead after that, I have Rare Candy Gardevoir in hand, and I can actually just use Beacon from Alolan Vulpix, which you can see here, to grab another Tapu Lele out of the deck. So I'm going to definitely grab the Tapu Lele to ensure that I can get a supporter, and probably just another Ralts. That seems like a good idea. You know, just in case Corey has some sort of Guzma play on my only Ralts, I want to be able to make sure that I have a second one to get into play immediately. So that definitely seems good, and since this is my first search of the game, I'm just also taking a look through my deck briefly just to see what I have prized and what I'm going to have access to the rest of this game. Okay, so I'm going to get those in my hand, and hopefully Corey does not have an N. So here he is going to, he top decks a Fairy Energy, he's going to get that down on his Eevee, getting a Sylveon GX into play. And what he can do, he can Sycamore the one he has in his current hand as well if he chooses to. Since really you typically only need one Sylveon throughout the course of a game. So here he's going to play an Ultra Ball. Most likely getting rid of the Sylveon, and he had a Parallel City, so maybe he gets rid of that as well. So it looks like he's getting rid of a Ralts. I'm actually okay. I'm happy to see a Ralts at the discard pile. And probably just going for a Corlia, I would have to imagine here. That seems good. And here he's going to retreat. And I guess just Magical Ribbon. So maybe he is saving the resources he has in hand. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use Rare Candy, getting out a Gardevoir, then I'm going to use Tapu Lele GX, and I'm going to go for an N. That way I can put all of these cards back into Corey's hand. Or back into his deck, I should say, my mistake. So definitely, you know, I had a rough first turn, but I'm starting to stabilize here. I have my first Gardevoir in play, and I can actually just keep using Vulpix to keep searching out stuff out of my deck, and I have a pretty great hand actually for next turn. But here I Rare Candy into Gardevoir, and we don't catch this initially, but I actually just remembered I put that Ralts into play this turn, so I actually can't evolve into this Gardevoir. And here, yeah, that's where we actually catch the mistake. So unfortunately, I can't do that, and actually I really don't like this because now I've revealed the strength of my hand to Corey. He can kind of see that I have a Gardevoir ready to go. But luckily I can use Beacon, search my deck for 2 more Pokemon. I'm going to get a Ralts, and I might even... It's kind of unfortunate. This is a situation where I would maybe prefer Lele, but because I have kind of shown the strength of my hand, I think I have to get another Ralts. I don't think there's a way around it. So, and what I mean by that is, you know, Corey saw I had Rare Candy Gardevoir in hand, so if he has like a means to knock out that Ralts, he's probably going to go for that and cut off my Gardevoir before it gets set up. And here you can see I pull out the Lele, the Remoraid, and the Ralts, so I'm kind of just trying to decide what route I want to go. And so I think, yeah, I think the best play here is definitely the Ralts and probably the Lele. That seems fine to me. You know, I have a Guzma in hand, so I can just play that next turn and maybe take a knockout or something, but you know, maybe the Lele is the safer way to go in case Corey does go for like another Magical Ribbon. I will have a way to get those out of his hand. So let's see what Corey's going to do here. I see a Rare Candy in his hand. I see plenty of double Colorless energies. So his hand right now is just not looking that good, unfortunately. And he actually, I think, has Field Blower and Parallel City of his own. So actually, if I'm Corey, that's what I'm thinking. I would be thinking about doing, just Field Blower away that Parallel City and put down your own, you know, preventing me from playing down that Lele he just saw me search out of my deck. But here he's going to go for a Magical Ribbon, opting to hold on to those cards, because I'm pretty sure he had a Field Blower in his hand. I could be mistaken, though. But anyways, here I'm going to get that second Gardevoir into play. I got that Ralts in play, and So now I actually have a tricky situation. You know, I could get those cards out of Corey's hand, but here I kind of like the idea better of going for a play to knock out this Kirlia. That seems pretty good to me as well. So since Corey does not have a Gardevoir in play, I'm sure he grabbed one whenever he used Magical Ribbon. I want to take that option away from him in case he does not have the rare candy. So, you know, going for the end would have been nice, but I felt like it was too important to get rid of the Kirlia. But here, unfortunately, Corey is going to come back and punish me for it. He has the double Carlos energy. He has Field Blower to get rid of my own Perilous City. He has a Perilous City of his own to work with. And I believe he has the Guzma as well. I thought I saw him go for it there. So he's going to Secret Spring and then go for a Guzma. Oh my god. So this is definitely Corey's turn to come back in this game. And this is really going to set me back. So here he is going to play GX, putting all of those resources back into my hand. Luckily I can put them back down, and I have a low in Vulpix, so I can still search out some Kirlias if I have to. But unfortunately guys, that is where the footage cuts off at. I'm so sorry. Like I said, that my camera decided to quit recording the rest of the finals match, of all matches. But yeah, I'll try to give you a quick little breakdown of kind of how the rest of the series went. So for the rest of this game, I was able to set up my Gardevoirs again. After this, Corey I think was able to knock out one Ralt, but I was able to set up two of the other Ralts back into Gardevoirs. And basically I was only attaching a small amount of energy to my Gardevoirs at a time, doing low amounts of damage to set up 2-hit knockouts, and whenever Corey would attack back into me, I would heal off all of that damage with Max Potion, attach another little bit of energy, and finish taking my knockouts. So doing that and using Twilight GX to get back all of my Max Potions, I was able to just win the 2-shot war and win this second game, which means that I actually won the series and was the winner of this League Cup. So yeah guys, like I said, I am sorry I was not able to deliver you the rest of this finals match, but I hope this at least was entertaining to see a little bit of the interaction between these different Gardevoir variants. And also too, we did upload a top 4 and a top 8 match, so if you guys did not see those, I will have links for you to check those out in the description as well. But as usual, feel free to like and subscribe, and don't forget to support us over on patreon.com/rarecandytcg or by picking up something from our online store at rarecandytcg.com. But with that, I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you for the next one.